Lead conversion? All right. So what are some things, was that you, Quan, said that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What are some things we can do to improve our lead conversion if that's one of our problems?
Roleplay.
Has anybody had roleplay change their life? Anybody? Oh. Explain roleplay, Steve.
Roleplay just prepares you for what to say whenever you're talking to anyone at any period of time because you've actually gone through scenarios with people that you can fail with, as opposed to losing clients. So when you know what to say and you know how to objection handle and build value and get people excited, then they're excited. And you ask all the right questions as opposed to, you know yourself to death. So I would say that that's probably pretty valuable.
Yeah, let's practice on each other. Let's not practice on our clients because we just discussed, right? We'll just go a $500,000 property. There's a $15,000 commission on the line. Let's not fuck up when there's $15,000 on the line. Let's fuck up when 30 minutes of our time is on the line. Like, that's the role play. I mean, there's literally nothing better that you can do to increase your lead conversion than role play on a regular basis. One of the reason we role play is so we know exactly what to do based on what they do. So I always look at Peyton Manning. By far not the best athlete ever to play quarterback. I mean, if you ever saw him run, it was like a newborn giraffe trying to run around. Like, yeah, insane. Like, Peyton Manning was not a great athlete. He was not the fastest. He didn't have the strongest arm, but he's going to go down in history as one of the best quarterbacks ever. Why? Because his ability to read the defense and see if they're lined up like this, then we've got to do that. And if they line up like that, we've got to do this. Again, not the best athlete by any means. There's zero argument about that. But he still will go down as one of the best quarterbacks because he spent so much time studying material, studying video and watching other teams and watching the formations that they would line up in. And he knew exactly if this guy lined up here, or even if he turned his body here or here, watching their eyes, watching what the other person's doing, he knew exactly how to react to those things. That is what role play will do for you guys. You don't have to be the most talented salesperson. I'm not a fucking good salesperson at all. I'm terrible. But I know what to say all the time based on what somebody tells me. I'm not the smoothest or any of that stuff. I'm like a Peyton Manning. I'm not great. But I've studied it so many fucking times. I've practiced it so many fucking times that it's just as soon as somebody says something or does something, it automatically, you know exactly what to do. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It starts to become second nature to you. George St. Pierre, who will go down as one of the best MMA fighters in history, talked about how much he practices to the point where he could fight somebody blindfolded because he could feel, he could sense what the other person's doing in every single move. I mean, him and Jeremy fight MMA like...
He won the wrestling state championship in one of the states.
Yeah.
You guys saw that ESPN. He's blind and he just won his weight class.
Yeah, we do blindfolded wrestling in practice.
Yeah.
You have to anticipate.
Yeah, you've got to know what's coming, and you've got to know if they do this, then I do that. Like, if guy's choking me this way, I got to do this, and if he's choking me that way, I've got to do that. Like, it's all about knowing what the other person's going to do, and the only way that we get better at that is to practice it. And Tom Brady, who is one of the best quarterbacks ever, and athletically and mentally, right? He doesn't stop practicing, guys. Like, he still practices as much as anybody, if not more. He's the first guy there. He's the last guy to leave. Watches more tape than anybody. And he's already the best quarterback in history, but he doesn't stop. So none of us are good enough to where we get to stop. Just because we closed 10 deals last year, 20 deals last year, doesn't mean we're so good that we don't need it anymore. Who are we to not show up to practice every day?
Here's a perfect point to segue out of what you're saying. So here's a question to you. If you're in wrestling and you get into, like, someone puts a choke on you,
Right.
what do you do? What would you do? Not 10 different moves, but what happens when somebody puts you in a threatening position?
You stay calm.
Right.
First and foremost,
Yep.
you stay calm into the balls.
So that's all I needed.
Okay.
Now what happens when people are unprepared in a choke? What do they do?
freak out.
Exactly.
They literally choke
That
themselves.
is literally the
They
analogy.
freak out.
That is literally the analogy that happens in everything we do in life, right? What you're prepared for and what you're not. If you're not prepared for those conversations, you will panic. When you panic, we actually start talking more. We start selling and telling and doing all this shit,
Telling isn't selling.
right? And as opposed to just listening and watching what happens and pivoting when you see the opening and being clear of mind. That's it. That's the same similarity.